All right, real quick, guys, while I'm waiting for my, I got a ground coming up, I got a flight, and then I got a night flight. Got here a little early today. Weather's not looking too good, so I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to book out on Flight Schedule Pro and then make some videos to kind of, I have some ideas of topics that I want to hit. So I had somebody asking me about study tips through flight school. All right, so what are some things that I did that I feel like really helped me retain information? When you're drinking out of a fire hose in flight school, retention is like one of the most difficult things. And I would study when I first started for hours and hours and hours. And then I would like quiz myself the next day and I just felt like I didn't retain anything. And I'm like, what did I just study for? Let me just preface that by saying that that is a perfectly normal studying experience, especially if you haven't primed your brain for learning. The brain is a muscle, and if you have not practiced learning, it's going to take you a while to get into the groove of things. You literally have to change the shape of your brain, the chemistry of your brain, the neural components of your brain in order to get better at learning. I'm not Andrew Huberman. I'm not a neuroscientist, but what I do know is that from when I first started flight school in 2022 to now, I retain information like that. I can look at an acronym once or twice and memorize almost the entire thing, whereas I used to not have that before. Why? Because I trained my brain. The reason why I'm telling you this is that you need to be patient with yourself. You're going to get really frustrated. You're really going to get anxious. You're going to feel like you're not good enough. You're going to feel like you're a fifth grader in algebra class again, okay? That's okay. That's normal. That stress that you're feeling, that cortisol, that anxiety, that frustration, that's part of the process. That's literally you're feeling your brain change and mold, and it's a painful thing. So that's okay. Let's get that out of the way. All right. Second thing is that you have to establish yourself within a routine. I'm not going to harp on this too much. You guys know what that means. All right. Set a time each day if you can and be strict with it. I'm going to study from this time and I'm going to study from this time. And I'm not going to budge no matter what. That's harder. That's easier said than done. But once you can establish yourself in somewhat of a routine, it also helps prime your brain for learning. And once you sit down in that almost like ritualistic space, right? Like that desk, it just gets you ready to go, okay? Instead of just like, should I go study now? Okay, sit down. All right, whatever. 3, reduce distractions, okay? Reduce the distractions. I've said in previous videos, I've had to get rid of my gaming consoles. I deleted all my social media. I uninstalled apps that were distracting. I took things off my desk that were distracting, and I just locked in. I had to put myself in the zone. And it's really hard to do that when you're studying and you're like, I'd rather play Apex, or I'd rather play Overwatch. And you go play Overwatch, only 20 minutes, and 30, 40, 50 minutes goes by, or any interruption is bad. So reduce the amount of distractions that you have, okay? I like little tips and tricks that I got from health podcasters, and I think one of the biggest takeaways that I got was the benefits of rosemary. So what I got is I got an oil diffuser and I put it in my room and I got some rosemary oil. And rosemary, the scent of rosemary, eating rosemary. Rosemary is apparently like a super food, if you want, or a super herb, and it helps you retain and helps you learn, and it smells really good. So think about getting some rosemary oil. Set yourself up a nice study space. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, extravagant, but I bought a little $60 desk. I put a salt lamp on it. I put some some nice bulbs, like you've seen in the video. It's kind of like a golden light, very light. I don't want like heavy Target, Walmart lights in my room, right? I like it to be kind of subtle. So set yourself up a really, really nice space. I gave advice about using ChatGPT's voice to help you study, how you can kind of like prompt the AI and be like, okay, pretend like you're an examiner and ask me questions. That was really helpful. And I would say lastly, learning how to teach, okay? Because if you can teach, all right, if you can teach whatever it is you're learning, that sets it in the stone. And if you could take a random friend, girlfriend, wife, sibling, whatever, and you could be like, okay, give me 5 minutes to try to make this make sense for you. And if you can make it make sense, you understand it and you know how to teach it, because then you can start bending the rules a little bit and using different techniques and tactics to help people understand. But this isn't about teaching. This is about learning, and these are study tips for flight school. Okay, this goes without being said, but you got to be healthy, okay? not being healthy in flight school and not taking care of your body and not taking care of your mind is going to make learning and retention and stress management way more difficult. Okay, so with that being said, try to be more conscious, if you're not already, about your diet, and sleep is absolutely huge. Okay, so get your sleep in check. I know it's more difficult than others, but if you're one of those guys who are chugging 160 milligrams of caffeine at 6 p.m. and you're like, why aren't I sleeping? That's probably why. Chances are you already know why your sleep is getting interrupted. All right. While I'm on the topic of sleep, let me just say, hone in on that sleep. All right. It's critical for learning. While I'm talking about sleep, I've noticed that if you study before bed, 30 minutes, it doesn't take a lot, maybe an hour, and you just kind of like go through what you studied earlier in the day, you will sleep, and then you will be retaining, like, you learn, like, how do I say this? Let me give you an example. There's been times where I was asleep and I'd be dreaming about shooting an approach, right? LPV, looking at my glide slope, looking at my DA, and I'm like, this is what I did wrong last time. I'm not going to do that again. And this is how I'm going to fix it. And I would become lucid in my dreams. And then I would realize, like, oh my God, I am currently on a glide slope right now, training instrument. And I'm actually like, this is actually making sense. Like, I'm learning right now. I'm in this other dimension that I created for myself where I can practice for free. I don't know if it's the most accurate thing ever, but my point is, I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh my God, that's what I'm doing wrong, is I am having too much power in, or that's what my instructor said and I just missed it. Now I remember. All right. And I would wake up sometimes reciting acronyms. I would wake myself up and be like, I just had a dream that I was reciting acronyms and I got it all. And then I'd be like, do I know that now? Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, I do. You're studying in your sleep. My point is, take some time before bed every night to kind of like rehash what you learned previously in the day. And you'll find yourself like practicing in your sleep. It's weird. The amount of stuff that we do in our sleep is probably, we can't even fathom. Like, it's crazy. So anyways, I think that's really it. If you guys have any questions, I will go ahead and put it below and I'll answer your questions. I love reading your guys' comments. Like, they make me so happy when I see a notification and it's like a question or a comment. They really do make my day. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I know I'm going to end this video. I'm like, oh God, I should have said that. Or I should have said this. Oh, I'll leave it with this. I do advocate now for the Sporty's pilot program that they have, the one where it's like, all those modules and it shows you time completed and stuff like that. I wasn't a fan of those because it was expensive, right? It was like $300, but it's not that expensive if you look at it from like an investment, like ROI perspective. But I got it for free because I'm a CFI now, and I used it for my CFII, and I'm like, God, this is so good. Like, everything's so intuitive. They have amazing videos. And so that's a really good way to study too, is using those. I'll make a video about Shepherd Air and how to utilize Shepherd Air for your writtens. You can't use it for PPL, unfortunately, but you can use it for everything else. And Shepherd Air is amazing. Like, I love Shepherd Air. I cannot advocate for them enough. But anyways, this video is not about Shepherd Air. I will see you guys for the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.